Okay, so we understand like there are many, different APs, and every May actually is a stress out time for a lot of students. So now we move forward to second speaker, and let's welcome Miss Mary. Hi, Mary.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are
Good.
you?
I'm doing great. It's a good day today.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so it's so great to invite Mary to talk about the AP bio, AP chemistry, AP science stuff. Okay. So actually, I wanted the question, same like Dr. Nima. So what is the trend and changes of the AP science? AP science, AP bio, AP chemistry, in
Yeah.
your opinion?
Yeah, so there's a little bit of nuance depending on which subject that we're talking about. So, for example, of course, we are now moving digital, but if we're looking at AP biology, there really isn't too much of a difference with regards to what kind of content is going to be covered on the exam. I actually echo what Dr. Neiman said, that there really isn't much they can do to really revolutionize what kind of content that will be on the exam. That really has not changed. However, if we look at AP Bio, when we look at the digital versus paper, there really isn't much of a difference, with the exception of the fact that on the digital, like you won't be asked to like draw a graph or something like that. But the content is pretty identical. Whereas if you look at AP Chemistry, however, the digital version of the exam is going to be focusing more on multiple choice, and there's actually going to be fewer free response questions. So if you were to take the paper exam, you would have less multiple choice and more free response questions. So again, kind of similar to bio, if you were to go the digital route, with the AP chemistry exam, then there wouldn't be any drawing or graphing. There wouldn't be any weird symbols or things that you might be required on the paper exam. So at that point, it would be more of the student just think what feels more native, right? Obviously, with the course of being in the pandemic and being more remote, a lot of students have gotten very literate with technology, so to speak. So if they feel very confident about that, actually with the AP chemistry option, I believe there is a opportunity to actually fiddle with it in April, and that would be to just connect with your teacher on that to see how to get access to that. And so if they feel pretty comfortable with it, then that could be a route that they go. But if they want to feel a little bit more at home with the paper, then that would be the route too. I also would recommend, just because there are different administration dates of the exam, to definitely, if they can, go with the earliest, just in case something happens the day of, because this is again round two for College Board to roll with this digital version of the AP exam. So things may go wrong. So that way, if it does happen, it can be rescheduled. That's what I would recommend.
I see.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mary. I
Yeah.
know many of your students got a full score, like improve a lot,
Mhm.
with you. So I wonder, what do you see the common point for the students who get a full score? So how long you think they should prepare?
Yeah. Well, how long they prepare really depends on the student, right? Students have different strengths. So I think the best thing to do, obviously, the earlier the better, is, since it is in May, it's never too early to start, in my opinion. So if you haven't started, start now. And what does start now look like? Well, diagnostic exams are a great way to do that. I know we have lots of them. And so usually we start off by the student taking some sort of preliminary exam to just kind of get where their baseline is at. And then after that, I review with the student to go through each question, and and the method that I always look at is being able to identify. I feel like students just kind of want to hop in and like answer the question as individuals, but really each question's under some sort of category. And you can go to the AP College Board website to look at them, or you can open up a prep book and see how they're divided up into chapters. So if you can categorize them, then you know how to attack the problem. You're more stressed out, and also tend to spend more time if you look at questions as individuals as opposed to in categories, because if you can categorize it, then you know how to attack the problem or how to approach the problem.
I see. So
Yeah.
we got a question from our attendee. They say
Okay.
the digital and the paper test is different. Would the College Board grade the two versions differently? For
Mm-hmm.
example, harder to make five on one of them? What do you
Mm. Yeah, that's a great question. I wish I could peer into their minds and see what they're doing there. But I mean, nothing seems to indicate that they would grade one more quote unquote difficult and one more easily. So I think it just boils down to what are you comfortable with, and that's kind of trial and error, where you'd have to kind of figure out, do I feel more comfortable with paper, do I feel more comfortable with digital. So again, just to reiterate, what the difference is the spread of the information. So for example, you're going to have one student that may feel more comfortable with more multiple choice, then perhaps it could be that digital could be a better option, in which case you would have freer FRQs. But again, also think about the actual testing experience. Do you feel more comfortable writing or typing? And that should be the determining factor as to which option you'd take.
I see. We got another question. Say, which grade to start taking the AP, and first AP exam, what is the first AP exam to take? So I would think they maybe want to ask, like, compared to AP Bio, AP Chemistry, AP
Uh-huh.
Science, what is the difficult level if you want to give the priority, like
Okay.
prioritize.
So in terms of science classes,
Yeah,
so definitely so AP biology is far more conceptual than AP chemistry is. That being said, AP chemistry is also conceptual, but there is a math component. So generally speaking, in most high schools, most students do AP Bio first, just because of the more conceptual basis of it, whereas AP Chem being more algebra based and conceptual, there is a level of complexity to it. Same thing can be said for AP Physics. So, yeah, so each individual student obviously is different. What you would want to do first could change depending on your strengths and what you feel more comfortable with. But generally speaking, I notice most students tending to be younger, or in lower grades doing AP Bio first before AP Chem.
I see. I see. Okay, we got one student, Jonathan, want to ask a question. Okay, hi, Jonathan. You raise your hand. Here we go. What's your question? You can talk now. You can unmute yourself and ask question to Mary. Mary, thank you so much. This is very helpful. I
Yeah,
definitely believe the student gonna benefit a lot from what
yeah,
you shared.
good. I'm glad.
Evelina? Okay, so guys, if you raise your hand, I just allowed you talk and unmute you. So actually you can just unmute yourself and just talk. All right. Or you can type your question in the chat box, which make you feel like easier maybe. All right. So what are your thoughts on the new program to take the test and how we are unable to go back on questions? How we are able to go back on the question. I think that's what I mean. Yeah.
Okay. So when you okay, so when they say new program to take their test, are they talking about the digital
I
version?
think it's online. Yeah, the online version
Okay.
is a paper is
Okay.
easy.
Okay. Well, I mean, the digital version has not been out yet. I have not been able to use it. But uh, so I don't know. Is the student saying that you can't go back to an old question on the digital version?
Actually, you can. Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
It
Okay.
was
Yeah.
designed to let you to go back. Yeah, you can.
Right. Okay, good. Then, I
However,
mean,
last
uh-huh.
year they had some issues. Some of the
Mm,
students, when
couldn't
they
go
do
back.
the
Yeah.
test, the system crashed,
Mm.
so they have to restart again. So I
Yeah.
heard some of the complaint. Yeah, but
Yeah.
hopefully this year they can do better. So that's why
Yeah.
you have to be just as early as possible, I guess, like what Mary suggests. Yeah,
Mhm.
a lot of things happen like that, right?
Yeah, yeah, and because of that, that's precisely why I recommend students that to go to the take the earliest exam possible, because things might happen, right? You want to set yourself up for success as much as possible, and tech is very reliable sometimes, and sometimes not so much, as we have learned throughout this pandemic. So definitely focusing on trying to get it early, I would recommend.
I see. Okay, one more question. I think there are a lot of questions here. Okay,
Yeah.
which AP class should be chosen for the computer science role?
Okay. Um,
I guess I
so
can answer this question. Yeah.
okay.
Any science class should be choose should
Mhm.
be chosen for the computer science route. So you should be very good in math, of course, right? If you're not good in the math and physics, I think it's not a good idea, right? So maybe
Right.
biochemistry is more for the bio and chemistry direction. And we can
Mhm.
talk about like the later how to choose AP. I think one more question for you. So what are the prerequisites for AP chemistry? Do you think we need to take a chemistry class beforehand? Or
Mhm.
can we take it without any chemistry knowledge? Well, this is challenging.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a great question. Well, if the goal is to be as strong of a chemistry student as you possibly can, then having a previous chemistry class wouldn't hurt. At some schools, even some schools actually recommend or require that one of the prerequisites at the school is you have a year of chemistry beforehand, or there's some sort of aptitude test. So in the event that you cannot take a class beforehand, having some sort of test where you can kind of see your potential for doing that. I know the internet has lots of resources on that. Would probably might be a good indicator as to like to kind of predict your success in the class. Of course, that's only obviously assuming that you put in your best effort in the class. So no matter what, like yeah, either way should work. But I mean, if I had to choose one over the other, having a year of chem before taking AP Chem would definitely put you in a better place to doing like a 4 on 5 on the exam.
Yeah. Okay. We have two more questions for Mary. I think students really like to ask you questions. Okay. So
Yeah.
maybe for physics, biology, and chemistry, which one should take first?
Yeah. So personal opinion, because of course each student is different, AP Bio should be first. AP Chem and AP Physics are both, again, both conceptual and equations based. And so having both of those components in one class could be proving more challenging versus where AP Bio, it's primarily conceptual. There is some math, like for instance, with the Hardy-Weinberg equation, but that's like very, very basic algebra, nothing too complex or complicated. Whereas with AP Chem and AP Physics, there is a lot more problem solving that's intertwined with the conceptual.
I see. So if a student took honor bio class,
Mhm.
can the student take the AP bio exam directly without, well, I
Um,
think with preparation, maybe. Yeah. What do you think?
yeah. So the way to take an AP exam, right, is through your school, right? Um, so generally speaking, if you've taken honors bio, but you're not enrolled in an AP bio class, or you haven't gotten permission from your school to do that, then it's going to be very difficult to do that. And by that I mean to take an exam, because again, it has to be through your school to do that. So being enrolled in the class will probably be your best bet.
I see. Okay. Sorry, I still have to ask you to answer three more questions. Students
Okay.
keep coming.
Actually, I am so sorry. I actually have a class right now.
I
So
know. One
I
minute.
do
1 minute.
have. Okay.
Okay. I think only one. Okay.
Okay.
So will AP Physics C have a lab test?
A lab test. So AP Physics C. So AP Physics C is actually not a class I'm familiar with. I'm only familiar with AP Physics 1 and 2. So that is something that I would have to get back on you for that. Unfortunately, I'm not
I'll
experienced
get
with
back
that.
to the student. Thank
Okay,
you
great.
so much, Mary.
You're
Thank
so
you. Go
welcome.
ahead. Go ahead. Students, when
Okay,
you.
take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Okay. All right. Okay, so now if you have a more question, you can just leave us. You can just email us, and we're gonna get the teacher and give you a response regarding your question specifically. Because I noticed some of the question is very personalized. For example, about major direction, about your personal course selection. I think we need more like situation, like we need more information before we give you the right suggestion. All right. Okay, so I want to go to the medical field, but I would like to know more challenging physics courses. How do I choose between the physics 1, 2, and the physics C? And let's wait a little bit. I'm going to answer those questions with Dr. Yan, who is the professor of the science direction, together in the end after we finish the quick Q&A with teacher Dell. Okay, hi, Dr. Dell. All right.
Hey, good evening,
Hi.
everybody.
Hi, nice meeting you here with
Nice.
everyone, students.
Yes, yeah,
All
some great questions, and I would just echo what Dr. John and what Mary have said about the digital version and the paper version with respect to social studies. So I'd like to talk a little bit about the AP US, AP World, and AP European test. And in terms of just recently, in the past 4 years, all three of those subjects have gone through a major redesign. And fortunately, I was able to be a part of the United States history redesign. But the trend was to standardize the format, the time constraints, and the approach, the types of questions that would be asked on all three of these exams. So students who take AP US History, AP World, and AP European, they're going to get a very, very similar exam. I've got some slides that I'll share with you quickly. So one is here's the AP US History exam, and you'll notice that it's 3 hours and 15 minutes. And they will have several parts. It's basically divided into two parts. Each part graded equally 50% for the part one, 50% for part two. Each section having different weighted values. So in AP US History, 55 multiple choice. There'll be 3 short answer questions given, and then there'll be a free response section, and they'll have to write a document-based question and then respond to a long essay. The DBQ and the long essays, or LAs as they're called, all will require writing to a particular rubric, which I would work with students on, and I will work with students on. And the multiple choice, the change that has occurred in the multiple choice is that all of them now are stimulus based. What that means is students will be presented with a primary source document, whether it be textual or visual, and then they'll be asked to respond to a series of questions that relate to that stimulus, and then we'll be asked to make comparisons to other periods of time in the history class, or to just simply comment on the particular time period that the document is referring to. If you go on to the next one, which is the AP World History exam, you'll see the same format. The AP World History exam has 6 course themes, and it's divided into 9 specific units. And again, students will be assessed the same way that they would be assessed in the AP US History. And then finally, if you go to the third, which is the AP European History exam, this is has 7 course themes and then 9 course units that the students will look at. And again, the format of the exam is exactly identical. So I think students, you'll see that regardless if you take AP World, AP US, or AP European, the exam is going to be the same. The only difference being the content that you're going to take. So if you go to the last slide, what I like to do with the students that we work with is basically integrate 7 real important review strategies with them. So one of the things is that at our sessions and our review, we will work on those research skills that will help you retain that content. One of the biggest issues or concerns that students have with the AP Social Studies exams, particularly these 3 courses, I have to learn so much content. How do I retain it? And one of the things that we'll do is provide you with some strategies whereby you can do that. Secondly, we will also help fill in any gaps from your home course to help remember that content and apply it. We'll also engage you in some active learning activities that will require you to utilize content acquisition, content application, and content exposition skills. And these are exactly the same types of skills that you'll be required to demonstrate on the national exam to achieve a qualifying score. All the stuff that we work with is written at the college level, or at the college level, as if it would be an introductory survey course for US history, world history, or AP European history. And anything that we assign in terms of writing assignments will be based actually on exam-like questions, so that students are being thoroughly prepared for that. As well as obviously taking several mock exams, practice exams, as Mary said, to determine a baseline and identify strengths and weaknesses so that we can develop an individualized learning plan for each of the students so that they can work on their strengths, or I should say work on their weaknesses to maximize their scoring potential. So that's kind of an overview of the course. I will say the courses. I will say that for students wanting to take either of the three or all three of the three, I highly encourage that. The big issue that those that grade the national exam, and I'm familiar with it, and I've graded in the past, is contextualization. And so we'll work a lot on that concept. In other words, writing so that you can demonstrate to the reader what was going on at this particular period. Why is this significant? What's the cause and effect? And one of the things that students often get downgraded on the national exam, and thus cause their score to drop, is that they do not contextualize enough. So we'll spend a lot of time on that. I'll stop right now and I'll answer any questions that anybody may have.
All right, thank you, Dale. Okay, so that's a lot of information. So actually, got some students. I like your background, by the way. It's really cool.
Thank you. All right, appreciate it.
Okay, so
I just got out of a class.
I know, I can tell. All right, so one of the question is, AP US history, European and world history, which one is easier? I think this question was, yeah, it's like.
Oh, that's a loaded question. Which one is easier? It depends on your particular interest or your background. Again, as what has happened now is, the content obviously varies, but the exam now, the format is exactly the same. It used to be, and so this is really a moot point. It used to be that the world history exam was easier because it was more thematic. Now all the courses are going to integrate themes, several themes that are important to their particular content. So I would say, I guess I would say they're going to be, in terms of level of difficulty, they're going to be about the same. I would probably lean a little bit towards the AP World History exam, but again, it's going to vary. Most, the data shows in recent years that most students who take the AP World History exam are taking it in either 9th and 10th grade, and then AP European. Some people take it in the 10th grade or take it as seniors, and then 11th graders is where you'll find most of the students taking AP US history. Now, I don't know if that has to deal with the difficulty of the course material or the academic maturity of the students, but that's about the best answer I can give.
I see. So yeah, so you probably can find the order in learning those history classes. If you would like to, decide which one is easier, you want to go with the easiest one or then go to the harder one. Well, generally speaking, I mean, if you want to learn very well, there's no easy way, right, Dale?
Correct. Correct.
Okay, so I guess we got a question from one parent. Say, what should you say to someone who is interested in the AP US history? Like how to encourage them to take the class? How to interest them to take the AP class?
I would hope that that they would want to learn about our nation's past and why it's so important that that we understand history is actually not a dead study. It is very much alive. Everything around us, everything that we're connected to, everything we do in our daily lives is one way or another connected to history. So that's why it's so interesting. And the way that the approach now, the way that they've redesigned these courses, I think is an indication that they're trying to engage students more into bringing history alive and making it more meaningful and more relevant. They're doing away with a lot of the rote memorization and this happened and why is this date, and you know, the basic literacy of history is now being replaced with, let's bring this alive. Why is this event important? Why is this theme important? And so I would encourage parents who are interested in that to talk with the teachers at their school. Also go to apcentral.collegeboard.org and take a look at each of the AP Social Studies courses that are offered to see what is being covered. One thing that wasn't mentioned, and just as an aside, is that every school that offers an AP course must submit an audit that is approved by the College Board, which says that they will hopefully make the course interesting, that they'll use, you know, college prep level materials, and that they will use active learning practices.
All right, thank you for the answer. And I got another question say, will the Apush test being taken online have Leqs and the Dbqs be typed or written and submitted through a PDF image?
The answer to that is yes. And I'm going to say it's a qualified yes, because I was just on the College Board website the other day, and they are continually making updates. So the answer to that is yes. In terms of the quantity and the length of time, that is still to be determined. But I would highly encourage moms and dads and parents and students to check that College Board website, because they frequently update it. And I would say by mid-March, so it's not too far away, final decisions with regard to the scope and format of the digital version will be finalized.
I see. Okay, so one more question. Do you need a high score on every single portion of the Apush test to get a 5? Or can you still score a 5 if you do well on one part and not as well on the other?
The answer to that is you need, to basically do it this way. You need to get 50% of the multiple choice questions correct, and you need to score 50% on the possible points that are available in the short answer and in the DBQ, the document-based question, and the LAQ. That will get you a 3. Okay. However, most universities are not accepting 3s in terms of giving credit for that intro course. They're looking for 4s, and in some cases, higher tier schools are looking at 5. So it is very important that students be able to write to the free response questions, and that was another big part of the redesign. Because several years ago, if you did real well in the multiple choice, you didn't have to do much on the writing, and you would still get a qualifying score. They're moving away from that.
I see. What last question is, how hard is a 5 on AP European history? Would I do fine even though I don't have a strong background in the English reading?
The course, if you follow the themes and you understand the content and the units, it's very, very easy to get a 5 on the national exam. In order to get a 5, that you will have to write two are the rubrics on the document-based question and on the long essay questions. Each of them require a thesis and significant analysis and contextualization of the prompt that's being presented. And we work with students in order to do that. And students suddenly realize, well, if I just do a little bit more, if I put it more in context, or if I address this more, I'm going to get those extra points. So my answer to that is, if you're willing to put in the effort and go that extra mile and do that little extra in the writing, yes. it's easily attainable to get a 4 or 5. The difference between students who get a 4 and a 5 and students who get a 3 is that writing portion, not going that extra mile, so to speak.
Yes, yes, I agree. And also, most of the time, they just need a great teacher to leading them in order to get a good score without too much, time to try to figure out it by yourself. All right. All right. Thank you
Absolutely.
so much, Dale. And I
My
understand why
pleasure.
students love your class so much.
Thank
All
you.
right. So yeah, so since Dale's class is like very a limited spot and very popular, so just to join the class to ask more questions with